Nimbula, methangu nimilote na isorotumboa. Nama kia uminarua kinaona na vekavi moniti kina vakarambuka. Rongo mena vya sama kina vibaga barota kinindre komalolo. Ena Radio Fiji 1 na wongani pioniano. Ngai nama kia kina.
Mula, I'm Wame. Join me every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on The Center Show with classic hits from the 70s as well as the 80s right here on Gold FM.
Tonight, Sabah to close school gates on children with pending school levies. Indonesia offers help for Fiji elections. And police allowed to enter villages in Kandavu in fight against drugs. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and you're watching FBC News. The Opportunity Sabah of Fiji has put its foot down and says beginning this week they won't allow any child into any of their schools if their levies are not paid. While it does agree that this is a drastic step, the Sabah says their hands are tied and that it's the irresponsibility of parents that has forced them to turn to this last resort. Roland Karoy reports.
The Sabah owns 22 schools in Viti Levu and claims that it is owed more than $180,000 in school levies.
Several people, almost 800 of them, have signed a written parental agreement with this management that they will pay their dues within a certain period of time. Comes first term, end of the term, nothing done. Comes the second term and end of the term, nothing done.
From past incidences, the Education Ministry has always maintained that no child is to be deprived of an education, but insists that parents have a responsibility to fulfill. Kamlesh Arya says while they sympathize with the children, there's not much one can do when parents are neglecting their responsibilities.
Some parents just take it so lightly that management's given the position ministry normally takes that you don't send children home, that they just don't believe that they have a responsibility towards their children.
Arya goes on to say that parents will now be advised to clear all backlogs from the first 2 school terms before their children will be allowed back into class. Education Ministry Permanent Secretary Dr. Bridgedal says he hasn't received any correspondence from the Sabah, but says he will look into the matter tomorrow. He does reiterate, however, that every child has the right to an education and they must not be deprived of this. But he does say that parents must front up to their responsibility. Roland Karoy, FBC News.
The Opportunity Sabah of Fiji has welcomed the Constitution. The document was discussed at the executive meeting in Lautoka yesterday. Roland Karoy reports.
Being the second largest Hindu denomination in the country, the Opportunity Sabah of Fiji has made its stand known on the new constitution.
Generally, the discussion prior to even yesterday's meeting was very supportive. We had played a pivotal role in the formation of the new constitution by virtue of being parties to submissions and things like that. So we viewed the constitution as a positive outcome.
A major change in the constitution compared to the previous 3 is the adoption of just one constituency.
There were some reservations, I must say, but generally the Sabha at the end of the day felt that being given one constituency, the 50 or so representatives that will form the new parliament will have a national universal approach rather than sectoral constituency base. And it will take away the political animosity from people.
If there's one provision that the Sabah felt could have been different, it's the appointment of the President by Parliament. In their submissions, the Sabah proposed that the President be chosen by the people.
If the present government feels that the parliamentary people would have the potential to do an appropriate thing, then appointing the President from Parliament is not an issue for us, but we would have loved to have elected the President like it happens everywhere else.
The Opportunity Sabah of Fiji claims to represent 25% of Fiji's Indo-Fijian community, and according to Kamlesh Arya, all have spoken and all have welcomed the Constitution. Roland Karoy, FBC News.
The new Code of Conduct for public office holders will be ready by the end of this year. Under the new 2013 Constitution, an Accountability and Transparency Commission will be set up that will hold all public office holders accountable. The members of the commission will be appointed by the Judicial Services Commission, and complaints can be lodged against the President, Prime Minister, ministers and senior civil servants. Speaking at the 2013 Fiji Business Forum yesterday, Acting Prime Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum said, under the new constitution, all public office holders will have to declare their assets and revenue.
If you're a public senior civil servant, or you are the Prime Minister or Minister or President, you have to declare all your assets and liabilities. You will then, as individual citizens of this country, be able to know exactly how much they earn, what is their revenue base, what are the assets they have, what assets do their spouses and children have.
The Attorney General says one of the main reasons for the Commission is to prevent abuse of office and ensure transparency. The Indonesian government is pleased with the progress Fiji is making towards democracy. Chanel Sivan spoke to the Indonesian ambassador to Fiji, Salim Chandra, and finds out they're in talks with the Fijian government in providing training for electoral staff.
Since 1995, Indonesia has been holding elections. Indonesian people elect a head of state, the president and a legislature. The president is elected for a 5-year term. Indonesian ambassador to Fiji, Salim Chandra, says Indonesia has years of experience in the one-man, one-vote system and is willing to share their expertise.
Indonesia has already experienced 2 elections with that system, and next year will be the 3rd experience of one-man, one-vote. So I think it would be a good opportunity for Fiji to learn more about that from Indonesia. We are proposing to the Attorney General for a training in Indonesia for from the Electoral Commission officials.
Chandra says after the training, officials need to witness or participate in regional elections to witness how elections are conducted. Chandra also says they are pleased with Fiji having a new constitution.
Your constitution is very detailed, and I think it's a different style, but I think it's good that you have a detailed constitution, and I think it's a matter of the people to really understand, and then they implement the constitution.
Salim adds that the relationship between the two countries is very strong and will strengthen in the years to come. Attempts are being made to get a comment from the Attorney General. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The issue of price control remains a debate, and businesses in Fiji still criticize it, saying it will distort price signals. The Fijian government reviewed the price control in 2010 to identify items that should be removed or added from the price control list. Ritika Pratap reports.
Prior to this review, more than 200 items in 48 categories were under price control. However, it has now been decreased to 25 categories. Only items that have been added to the list post-reforms include liquefied petroleum gas, hardware and spare parts.
4 to 10% of the items on shelf on any given store is now under price control, as opposed to 40 to 60% prior to the reforms.
Shaheen Ali says interventions in the pricing sector are only considered when necessary, and price control were removed from some items as they were impacting negatively on the economy.
To ensure fair and reasonable prices for basic necessities, including essential services, especially in sectors where free competition is not possible or is insufficient.
Industry experts believe price controls will provide fair play in the market.
Many sectors did not have adequate competition. Sectors such as telecommunication, electricity, aviation, fuels, LPG required continued monitoring.
A well-established company would want to have got multiple products. Certain products they will push the price down to push a new player coming into the market. It's happening here, and that's the reality. Then we have got market foreclosure. I've got a well-established entrepreneur, business firm here, a new one comes in, before the person comes in, you have seen this existing one engaging in long-term contracts and foreclosing the market. The new one comes in and says, hey, where's the market?
Dr. Mahendra Reddy says markets will only clear if both parties are of equal strength.
People would argue that, in this competition there are 2 or 3 players. But look, you look at or study the market structure, how you will see how one player controls the majority of the market and will tell the other one, you set your price here, or if not, I'll push you out. I can show you email statements from one player to another player saying, this is the price. Set it, if not, finish it.
Price control and its effect on business was one of the topics discussed at length at the 2013 Business Forum held in Suva yesterday. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
The fight against drugs in Kandavo is progressing well, with police now allowed to enter villages in the province. However, the law enforcement agency has been asked to tread carefully, especially when dealing with suspects. Epelito Kawasa reports.
The chiefs and the people of Kandavo have allowed police to enter villages in Kandavo to investigate drug cultivation.
We have decided to allow the police now to go into the villages where there are still marijuana being planted. We have decided that we allow the police. But we have asked the police, when they deal with the culprits, to deal with them lightly, not like they had before. Sort of some force being used on those, especially young people in front of the villages. So we ask the police to be very careful on that when they deal with that.
The Kandavo Provincial Council reiterated to chiefs during the meeting to encourage their people to invest in other crops and not plant marijuana. The council has agreed that marijuana should not be planted in any farm in Kandavo.
After the main drug haul last year, yes, there's been a bit of change on the drug situation in Kandavo. But the chiefs and other members of the council, they still think there are some, and that's why we have allowed the police to go into the villages where they're still dealing with marijuana.
Katunivoliku says the chiefs are working with the police through the Nathangilevu Declaration to try and totally eradicate drug cultivation on the island. Epeli Tuguasa, FBC News.
In the news ahead, Miss FSC is Miss Friendly North. Coming up in sports, Team Fiji leaves for Wallace and Fortuna tonight, carrying our hopes for the Pacific Mini Games. And Lautoka women dominate Police Wives volleyball competition.
Hi, I'm Sophie.
And I'm Tix.
You can join us on The Breakfast Show
every weekday from Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. right here on Today FM.
That's right.
Hope you're enjoying the music right now on Gold FM. Only the classic hits, especially if you're spending your time at home or around the office. I certainly hope you're taking it easy and enjoying the music coming your way. Well, I got a whole lot more to keep you moving and to keep you going right up until you reach knock-off time. I'm Kara. Join me every weekday from 2 to 7 on The Ride, only on Gold FM.
Welcome back. You're watching FBC News. Methodist Church ministers have been told to bring in accurate data of their church membership next year. This is after it was found that the data presented is incorrect. Epelito Kawasa reports.
Methodist Church ministers now have the mammoth task of collecting the accurate data of membership, which is a requirement to be presented at next year's conference.
So to really do their best to get the best possible and the most accurate results that they can in terms of statistics, to really try and find out who are the members, not just going off a role that they've been using for so many years and the people are no longer alive or no longer living there, that sort of thing. So this is a lot of work that we will be doing, but really it's part of the work that we're supposed to be doing anyway.
Reverend James Bhagwan says it's very important that church ministers know the details of their congregation. The church has found that some church elders are not doing their work in identifying who their members are.
We as ministers need to be actively involved in this understanding of our statistics, because it is gauging our work, and our work in terms of caring for our people, and also our work in terms of evangelism and spreading the gospel.
Providing the accurate membership details will help the church perform its function well, both spiritually and financially.
Because that not only reflects the membership of the church in terms of what we are doing and the members that we have, it also affects in terms of the money that is collected, the money that is raised for the church as well.
An issue of concern was the gap between the church statistic and the government statistic. This year, the church recorded more than 200,000 members. Epeli Tukuasa, FBC News.
Having played in more than 100 countries, Roman Rudnitsky, a professional and renowned pianist, has described making music as a special pleasure. The American pianist of Ukrainian background was in Fiji again, and last night was his final concert in Nandi. Akosita Tale was lucky enough to meet the musician.
Having grown up in a musical family and developed his love for piano at the age of 4, Rudnitsky's performances have taken him all over the world.
I like to come to places where people seldom get concerts. For instance, here in Fiji, I know that it's only a once-in-a-while thing that people might hear something. So it's a special pleasure for me to do that, you know, and I want to continue doing things like that.
He last performed in Fiji in 1975 and has encouraged Fijians of all ages to learn how to play a music instrument, and piano is one of them.
You fill out harmonies, it develops your ear and how you listen and everything. And there are many reasons to want to study piano. I mean, to be a concert performer is only one reason. You can do things for your own enjoyment, you can accompany, you can do whatever. But just making music, I think, is a special pleasure.
Rudnitsky has been in the country since Monday and has played 5 concerts. He says the audience has been great and has received positive feedbacks.
Many of them probably had their very first experience listening to a classical concert, but it was an extremely positive feedback, you know, and I'm sure I'll probably be back here, within 2 years.
He plans to make a comeback in 2015 and will bring more new and exciting plays and harmonies. Rudnitsky returned to Australia for his 18th concert tour, where he will perform 41 concerts. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
The 2013 Vodafone Festival of the Friendly North ended in a big way last night. It was a big night for Miss FSC Losalini Loloma as she was crowned Miss Friendly North. The 24-year-old of Kia Island was also crowned Miss Charity.
Thank you everyone for your support tonight. I'm really proud and I'm really happy to be wearing the crown on behalf of my contestants and for the people of the Friendly North. Hum tumse pyar karta.
Mr. Feng Fiji Tambua Kaukimode was crowned king.
Wow, that's all I can say. I'd like to thank the Almighty God, the courage to stand up in this platform, to share my opinions in order to help the Friendly North.
Miss Lambasa Town Council Elizabeth Raiwalui was crowned first runner-up, while the second runner-up was Miss TISI Sangam School of Nursing Angeline Dial. The festival raised $147,000. Ahead in sports, Team Fiji ready for Pacific Mini Games.
Nimbula, ayaw Mr. Ben.
And laba.
Na magikiro manolo kinedero bima taka monisi kina fagarumbuka.
And a Bula FM. Now we're doing it silly.
How would you like to spend your morning? You could spend your morning like this. Or you could spend it like this.
Tune in to the Morning Ride every weekday morning from 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. right here on Today FM, Today's Hit Music.
Welcome back. You're watching FBC Sports. 1 down and 6 to go. That's the case for the Suva rugby team, which yesterday fended off their first Fairbrother Sullivan Trophy challengers Lautoka to win 23-0 at the ANZ Stadium in Lauvala Bay. Suva fly half Esau Donaldson proved a class above the rest with impressive long-range kicks. The capital side raked in 3 tries, each one proving Suva's exceptional try-scoring capabilities off their forward and backline plays.
An inside pass, he throws a dummy, it's been put down to the ground, out it goes, beautiful play there, and John Stewart has gone in for Suva, right at the corner flag. Suva comes in, they collected ball beautifully, and Suva walking very hard, right at the tail side of John Stewart, throws out to the far side, and over they go, the try line once again.
Challenging Suva next week will be Namosi. Team Fiji athletes and officials have settled in Wallace and Fortuna with the day remaining before the start of the Pacific Mini Games. Before leaving our shores yesterday, the FBC sports team caught up with a few athletes who each have their own reasons to do Fiji proud over the next 2 weeks. Elena McDonald reports.
Scenes at Nandi's International Airport last night as the moment for our 108-strong Team Fiji outfit has arrived.
Preparing for this, just gonna do my best in Wallace.
Weightlifting is a definite gold medal prospect for us, but first it'll be about shaking off the first-time jitters.
I'm very excited to go to the mini games. This is my first time to go to the mini games, and I'm very excited to go to.
So too will be for athletics, particularly for Fiji's lone hurdler who managed to overcome an injury scare.
Rehab for the week and mostly pool therapy and visits with the physio. But all in all, everything looks good. I've been given the green light by the doctor, so I can't wait.
The Games begins on Tuesday, with Fiji first featuring in athletics, weightlifting, sailing and volleyball. Elena McDonald, FBC Sports.
At the end of the World Youth Netball Championship in Glasgow, Scotland, the Fiji under-21s maintained 9th position after beating Samoa 52-48 yesterday. The result means the Baby Pearls have qualified for the next championship, which will be held in Botswana in 2017. Meanwhile, New Zealand claimed the top prize after beating Australia 52-47 in the final. Jamaica came in 3rd place after beating England 52-33, while South Africa beat Wales 54-48. Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago with Samoa complete the top 10 teams. Suva, Lambasa and Savu experienced some rain today. However, for the western region, it was fine weather throughout. It was rather cool all over the country today, with Lambasa having the highest temperature of 27 degrees at 4 this afternoon. Suva was a bit chilly with 23 degrees, with the rest of the major centres close on 25 and 26 degrees. Expect the chilly conditions to continue tomorrow. The same weather pattern will also be experienced with Suva, Lambasa and Savu to experience some showers. Elsewhere, it should be fine. This weather is expected to carry us into the week. However, a strong wind warning is in force for the Vatuira Passage, Southwest Vitilevu, Yasawa and Mamanuca Group. Mariners can expect rough seas with moderate southerly swells. The headlines again. The Area Opportunity Sabah of Fiji to close school gates on children with pending school levies, saying parents must face responsibility and pay up. Indonesia offers help for Fiji elections, and police allowed to enter villages in Kandavu and fight against drugs. This is your last chance to take part in the FBC poll question, and we're asking, do you agree with Fiji FA's decision to allow Fijians only to play in events? Visit the FBC website to take part. Remember to send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj. That's all from the newsroom for tonight. Trust you will all have a productive new week. Until tomorrow, good night.